AskReddit. What things did you instantly regret learning about? You can get bed bugs from a movie theater seat. Entomologists who study cockroaches often become allergic to them. At the same time, they become allergic to most brands of pre-ground coffee. To become the oldest person in the world, every single person alive when you were born has to die. The anus can stretch to the size of a compact disc/DVD. You can disembowel yourself by lifting weights that are too heavy. Over 500,000 children under the age of 5 die every year from diarrhea. There is probably a combination of food/flavors on some distant corner of the world that you would absolutely love, but you may never get to taste it in your lifetime. Same goes with music. Among other things, alcohol consumption may lead to cancer of the rectum. Takes drink. You know the little girl who voice acted Ducky from The Land Before Time. Her father murdered her with a hammer, shot and burned her, as well as her mother, then killed himself. Thanks to below. Odds are, one of the things you do as a part of your daily routine will likely cause your demise. Hamsters are cannibalistic. Not only that, it's the mother that eats its own babies. Baby chickens at factory farms are checked for gender once they are hatched and tossed immediately into a meat grinder if they are male. Babies are born with a thick substance covering them called vernix caseosa and looks like white quizo. The translation for vernix caseosa is cheese varnish. Enjoy your baby cheese. One day your parents put you down and they never picked you up again. The fairy tale of Hansel and Gretel is based on a period of famine where people really did lead their kids into the woods and leave them there because they couldn't feed them. Raw oysters are alive when you eat them. Squid semen burrows through flesh. Cows have best friends. The reason we know this is because of the intense stress they exhibit when they get separated from their BFF. Sad face. The reason I know this is because my sister-in-law has a best friend. Happy face. The astronauts aboard the Challenger were most likely alive and conscious after the rocket exploded, and they were hurtling to their deaths. There are more slaves right now than were ever in slave-owning America. After the dissolution of the USSR, many nuclear warheads went missing and remain so to this day. Edit. As a bonus, India and Pakistan have thermonuclear bombs and threaten to use them against each other on the regular. Most no-kill animal shelters just make someone else do the dirty work. A large percent, if not the majority, of the population have mites that live in your eyebrow hair follicles which come out at night and lay eggs on your forehead. Koalas are so stupid that if you place a eucalyptus leaf on a plate in front of them, they won't eat it because they don't know what it is unless it's on the branch. Also, koalas' teeth don't grow back after they wear out, so when that happens they just starve to death. During pregnancy, at roughly 16 weeks, the fetus develops a soft downy mustache. This hair, known as lanugo, then spreads across the rest of the fetus, and by 20-ish weeks it should cover the entire body. This hair can be seen on many premature babies, as some may be born/delivered before they'd naturally shed the hair. However, when they do stay in long enough to shed the hair, they then eat it while in the womb. This first meal of their own fur makes up a child's first shit. When smelling, the particles of whatever, if emitting the smell, is literally entering your nose. So when you smell a fart, you have particles in your nose that were just in someone else's butthole moments ago. Farticles. The amount of pressure exerted when you pinch your thumb and forefinger together is enough to pop a human testicle. Some people do not wash their hands after using the restroom/masturbating, and there is a good chance you have touched one of those people's hands directly. Edit. I don't know why so many of you felt the need to tell me you are that person. Also, yeah, most people have probably held a dick. Good job. If you die without having children, you'll be the first individual to fail to reproduce amongst 3.8 billion years worth of your ancestors. Also, my original statement is definitely not a value judgment. We've evolved to a biological and cultural complexity in which your ability to reproduce is not the only determining factor in your value to the species. As far as we know, Beethoven didn't have any children, but his cultural contribution to the species is immense. Plus, I'm willing to bet more than a few children have been conceived while his music was playing. There is a legal limit, per ton, for the number of mouse droppings that can be found in flour. Flour that is used for food production/human consumption. That limit is not zero. According to an FBI study, at any given time there's between 25 to 50 serial killers operating in the US. Edit. According to this link, that I'm not showing in the video, because I'm a lazy AskReddit YouTuber, I seriously lowballed that number. I was basing my original numbers of 8 to 13 on what I read in a cracked article about murder, that I haven't been able to dig back up. On the plus side, serial murders still account for a very low amount of fatalities in the US. Unless you sub to me. Straws only have one hole. Your life began as an orgasm. And by God it's going to end the same way. Barry Scott's last quote, before dying of autoerotic asphyxiation. He went as he came. The longer you live you are more likely to be the only remaining friend and family member of everybody you know. You will either die early and leave all the people who love you to wallow in their own existential dread, or you will die late and watch all the people you love die around you as you are left increasingly isolated in this world that will continue spinning, even though you are frozen in time clutching a handful of happy moments from the past that you will never be able to recreate. Even if you meet the person of your dreams and live a long and happy life together, one of you will leave the other behind. This is usually seen as emotional suicide, and this is also why people and animals can die of a broken heart. Most people consider themselves to be at least 30% more attractive than other people find them to be. Damn, I'm ugly. Birds have no ring muscle, meaning when a bird flies over you, you are always in danger. By the time you reach the age of 18, on average, you have 3,200 to 3,500 weekends left in your life before forever. I had some of my favorite food ruined for me recently. A new study of cheese products in the US found high levels of phthalate chemicals in almost all of them, and significantly higher levels in mac and cheese. Phthalates can disrupt male hormones, are linked to birth/development issues, and are already banned from use in toys like rubber ducks. There's still poop in the shrimp you eat, unless properly clean, which chain restaurants don't do. If you are single in your 30s, your chances of finding a long-term partner is already drastically reduced. Happy masturbation, everyone. According to a legal facts book I once read, an economy-sized jar of peanut butter is allowed, by FDA standards, to have 210 insect parts and 7 whole rodent hairs. River dolphins are known to violently rape people. If they can't find a person, they'll bite the head off a fish and fuck its dead corpse like a fleshlight. Have a great day, friend. The 9 to 11 search rescue dogs were getting extremely depressed from only finding dead bodies. So depressed that they couldn't work anymore. So the firemen hid in the rubble for the dogs to find them, so they can at least cheer them up and at least help their future PTSD. Asian fish farms, usually in China and Vietnam, often feed shrimp until they are a diet of pig and or goose manure. Even though 86% of seafood sold in the US is imported, the FDA only visually inspects 2.7% of it and only tests 0.1% for toxins. The pillows in hospitals are reused until they are basically falling apart. Pillows in hospitals are used to position incontinent bedbound patients by propping them under their backside and under their thighs so they don't get bed sores. The pillows get covered in urine, feces, saliva, mucus, drainage from wounds, blood. People die on those pillows. They are plastic on the outside, so they are, hopefully, just wiped down with a bleach wipe when the room is cleaned, then covered with a new pillowcase and reused. I'm late to the game, but this always depresses me. Remember the famous first dog into space, Laika? Well, her journey was pure torture. The insulation on the craft tore off, and she spent about 5 hours under extreme stress in 100+ heat before dying. All of the vitals indicate the dog was terrified and miserable before succumbing to heat death. Edit/PS. The dog was never intended to survive, and the Soviet space dogs were street mutts chosen for their good temperaments. Laika even went home with some of the scientists and played with their kids before they shot her into space.